So all of it are signs that our magnetosphere is being impacted not just by solar wind, but by other stellar winds. And at least some of it, I think, maybe most of it, are coming from this object we picked up in the SETI images. And now we know approximately where it is. Don't forget that I assume that it is 1.7 times the size of Jupiter. If it turns out that it's actually smaller than that, then it would be, yeah, here I have, this is what I use. This is the first brown dwarf star that we observed. This is from February 20th, 2017. As you can see, I've spoken about this many times, but this to me was such amazing evidence that I cannot pass the opportunity of mentioning it again. Yeah. So there's the object, and as you can see, it's glowing from the side opposite the sun. So that's its envelope, having plasma discharges. And after this, it moves all the way up to the sun and traverses in the corona. But this to me is amazing. This was the first brown dwarf star that I was able to observe, and this is in stereo B. This is core 2. It then
some of these photographs that I was able to capture. If I could just get out of here. Okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now this was the image that I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
This is actual video.
Yes.
Okay, and as this was passing by, you can basically see, the objects, the Earth and Pluto, and Saturn is this little tiny little dot right there where you see my white arrow, my cursor. And as this was passing by, you can immediately see this round structure.
That's
right there. You can see it. So let's zoom in. None of this has been doctored, anything like that. It's basically raw footage. There it is, right dead center in the middle of your screen.
That's right.
Pretty amazing.
It is amazing. It's such a huge object. It's huge.
It is what it is. And you can clearly see, this is a huge dust cloud, but you can clearly see, look how perfect this circular object is. Look how perfect cloud passing by. And this little mark way back there where my cursor is, this object right here, that's Saturn.
Yes.
So this object is closer to the camera, and it is between the Earth and Saturn. Let's take a look at another one of the images. They're all pretty much the same. Now, this is kind of a diagram that I did today for my morning video that I put together. But this is just kind of showing you about the position where this object would be. And there's the Earth, there's the sun, there would be this object right there, slightly inside of the orbit of Jupiter. It's Mars is way over here, but Mars's orbit is right there behind the Earth if you follow my cursor. So, these are not sized to scale or anything like that. It's just meant for an illustration for you.
Yes.
But here's a little magnified version of the object. And again, you cannot deny that this object is there.
Yes, I agree. It's definitely there, and it looks very large.
This is the same craft, but this is in the SREM imaging. What we noticed is this is the identical same time frame and everything. You're just seeing it in different imaging, okay? I want you to pay very close attention to this background. Follow my cursor very carefully. Do you see this background moving? It's moving from left to right. Look at the overlay right here, split right down the middle of the screen. This is a transparent, almost transparent overlay. This is where the brown dwarf is being seen with Saturn. They did this on purpose because if they did not overlay something right here on the left side of this screen, you would have seen that object clear as a bell on this imaging.
Mm-hmm.
That overlay is split right down the center of the damn screen. Why isn't this background moving? Look at this background moving. Look what they laid over here. Excuse me.
Mm.
So they basically shrouded it. So you can't see what is behind there.
Yes, that's right.
But
It looks like
I can see it popping out right there.
Mm.
I mean, I know you guys might not be able to see it, but I see it right here.
Yeah.
Fact of the matter is, it's there. There's no doubt about it. You know, these people, they can, you know, the trolls, they can cry all they want and they can jump up and down and yell and scream and blah, 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 blah. Fact of the matter is, you're looking at it. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Call it what you want. Call it Planet X, call it Nibiru, call it Wormwood, call it Nemesis, the Destroyer. I don't care what the hell you call it. Fact of the matter is, it's there, and it's not the only one in our solar system. Case closed.
That's right.
We've been lied to. We've been lied to for over 30 years, people.
Mm.
You know, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. It is July 5th, 2017, and I'm out for morning walk, and I see people standing in a parking lot pointing, and this is what everyone is seeing, and this is what I'm seeing with my own eyes.
This allows for pests to proliferate, diseases, molds, mildews, funguses, and viruses. This is a man-made cloud, ladies and gentlemen, and these pictures I took myself over Northern California. And this is a burst. This is where a jet left a huge plume. And then this turned in at the end of it to a burst. And this is not normal. Never seen before in our county historically, and I was born and raised there. This is another picture showing the jet trail just before the burst. This is our skies, and I want you to know that what you're seeing now, a lot of times many scientists know, especially at NASA and in other areas, that the skies that we're seeing are not normal cloud formations. These are man-made. And what happens as we reduce the amount of sunlight in a form of global dimming, we reduce the solar power with these type of clouds, and we reduce photosynthesis, which is going to impact agriculture. The pictures look odd. The formations don't look like normal clouds that people have seen before historically. This is another type of man-made cloud, and what we have done and what you're seeing here is we have the photographs from the times that the jet leaves the first trail as a thin, spindly trail to where they form into these different types of cloud formations. All of you can start looking up and seeing this. What happens is that there are experiments, and there's a color, you can see some color in this photograph. And part of what we're doing also is we're sending up canisters. The United States government, NASA, the U.S. Air Force, is sending up canisters into the atmosphere filled with chemicals to modify and experiment with our ionosphere. And when we modify and experiment with our ionosphere up here, we create experiments which they can see through these persistent jet contrails as they stay in the sky for long periods of time, and they can watch the experiments. The type of chemicals they are using are aluminum, barium, strontium, And these canisters are sent up on rockets, and what they do is they superheat the canisters to create experiments in our atmosphere. The experiments can give you colorful auroras, which they talk about as being wonderful. Many where aluminum, trimethyl aluminum experiments to make clouds are beginning to impact us. The reason I am concerned for agriculture is that none of these experiments have any public oversight nor agricultural oversight. Our drinking water is impacted because the chemicals are now beginning to show up in our drinking water. In California, the State Department of Health drinking water tests were examined between 1970 and this year, and we found unusual spiking in barium, aluminum, strontium, magnesium, calcium, manganese, and all of these spiked at the same time in various drinking water supplies across the state of California and also in Arizona. So what's happening with these atmospheric tests is that aluminum, as one example, gets into, with increased pollution and acid rain, gets into the root systems of our crop trees and our trees, and it looks like the trees are dying of drought. But they're not. What happens is that the root systems can no longer absorb the water and the nutrients needed to survive. Many of our forests in Redding, California, and other areas are dying. The oak trees, the redwood trees, the Douglas fir, across the United States, many areas. We believe that these trees are impacted because they cannot absorb enough water because aluminum is going into their root systems.